How you doing? Ronin Man here. Hey, we're going to have a very different episode this time, and I want to review a book, but this review is going to be more like uh, I would say a web search traffic, like hardcore data, not opinion, but data based research that we've been doing here. So the book that we're going to review is Everyone Lies, Everybody Lies by Seth Stephens-Davidowitz. And it's an absolutely fascinating book. And we have an unprecedented opportunity to see into women's minds. One of the most difficult things to read because of evolution and because of the everything, the way the sexes are. There's no motivation for women to tell the truth. So, got John on the line here. Hey, John, how you doing?
Oh, hi. Thanks for asking me back.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude.
It's very muggy
Is
here
it?
in Japan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not. It's pretty nice over here. Actually, it's not too bad.
Right on. Right on.
All right, so let's get into this. This is fucking great stuff here. So I want to let's say if I can put this into a nutshell. I'm going to have a bunch of links below, so I want you to watch the interview with Mr. Davidowitz and on CBS. It's very, very fascinating. We're going to talk about this in this episode. So, one thing at a time. This is the book itself. You can see it on here on the screen. So, what it is, okay, what this book is that okay? What this book proves. This is no joke. I'm reviewing this book for a really good reason. Is that the research, the things that human beings search for are the things that they're really thinking. So, for example, if you're searching for, you might tell your friends, hey, I have things are going good, job's fine, but they search for how do I cover my bills when I only have $20, right? So people search exactly the truth about what they're thinking, and that's why the data from Google searches is so valuable about reading the minds of people. In this book, to be honest, at least to the author itself, and not to me, but he said it's depressing because it's so honest that you can see exactly what people are thinking, and what they're saying, what they're thinking are very, very different. And this goes for men and women both. But the insights into women are definitely the most explosive, and nobody has tried to get into this yet. So this podcast you're listening to right now, the very first time. You can look on the internet, read the book, doesn't matter. This is the first time. We're going to nail it as best we can right here. So let's see here. So the data. Where do we start here? What do you think, John? There's so much to different angles to hit this with.
Yeah. Well, how about the original? How his message was put out there. It was originally the Pornhub thing, right? That's the way I look at it. He everyone looks to that, and the irony is it's not really about that. It's a pretty deep. This book covers a lot of territory.
Right.
The big data thing.
Right. So when we started researching for this particular podcast, we did a lot of research for, and we started with Pornhub data because every year the porn site Pornhub has a like an annual review with all the data and all the things that people search. So we were reading this data, we were looking at the infographics they made for us, and we will touch on this at the end, but it really wasn't teaching us anything new. And it wasn't giving us any insight into women. And so what this book does, what the research from Mr. Davidowitz does, is it absolutely will fucking blow your mind. We should probably hit with some of the more heavy things here. So let me just go straight into the slide, which is the fourth link on that I sent you. So basically, everybody lies. So these are the top searches that women search for their husband, as compared to on the left is what they post publicly, and this is what they search privately. Okay, so they publicly said the best, my best friend, amazing, the greatest, and so cute. So when women talk about their husbands, this is what they said publicly on social media. Okay, this is data. This is not like maybe This is through, there's so much data. This is analyzed. I forgot it's 17 zeros on the end of the gigabytes, right? So, I mean, we're talking major data. This is very accurate information. And mainly it's accurate because it's private. So nobody, I don't think any women or men before this book came out had any understanding that what they did online was going to be visible in the future, right? You know, it's like, it's secret, right? You know, that's why it's so accurate, right? But here's what women actually searched about their own husbands. Number 1, a jerk. Number 2, amazing. Yeah, so there was one good one. Number 3, annoying. And number 4, mean. And number 5, gay.
Right.
Okay, so these are the searches that women secretly do. And this is what women secretly think about their husbands. Is they think he's a jerk, they think he's annoying, they think he's mean, and they think he might be gay. And I read quite a bit about the gay part. And what's interesting about the gay thing is that if a man does not have sex with a woman or stops having sex, she immediately searches, is he gay? Okay, so they don't search. So they're 10 times more likely to search, is my husband gay, than is my husband depressed. But actually, men are much more likely to be depressed than to be gay. And depression is the biggest, obviously depresses your sexual desire. And so one of the biggest reasons why you wouldn't have sex is because you are depressed and you don't feel up for it, right? But women are not even, don't give a shit about what the guy's going through, you know?
Yeah. That's just that one specific area right there that, is, I give a shit. You could say that, but you could also say the lack of emotional intelligence.
Absolutely.
That one out.
Absolutely.
That's the way I look at it. The emotional intelligence is very low, and so we give them too much credit for being, nurturing and all that other BS, right?
Right. So absolutely. No, and so downright abrasive or not even like trying to listen. Yeah, clueless. What did you say?
Just clueless. Just absolutely clueless.
Right.
And assuming that the wrong thing, assuming that the guy's gay, right?
Right.
That's that could, and then the statistics prove it's depression, right? I mean, so it shows you how far off track the communication is between men and women.
Well, if you watch below, I'm going to put the link below for the CBS show. What I thought was very, very interesting about this particular episode is that when this slide came up, the women started absolutely laughing like hyenas. Yeah. Okay, until this point, the women were just interested. They were commenting. I mean, go ahead and watch the clip, right? You don't have to take my word for it. But basically, as far as I could see, they were just basically talking about it. It was quite interesting for everybody. But when this came on, they actually looked away. They were laughing so hard because they searched for these things themselves.
Exactly, yeah.
These are the number one searches that women do about their husbands. These are
admission of guilt right there.
Well, it's what is that called? It's that laughter of knowing, or what was there's some way to say it, but basically, yeah, it's if it was the first time, their mouth would have been totally open, like, my God, and actually in some of his interviews, you could see the reaction of the different women. You could see whether they knew something or didn't, right? Like one of them was like, yeah, of course, that number one of the most top searches in India was like sexually about breast milk, and the one woman, she knew, and then the other woman had no clue. You could see it on their faces, and the whole
that one, I remember that. And the funny thing is, the one woman who knew, she seemed a little bit more I hate to say open-minded, a little more in listening mode. The other one was covering her ass because she didn't know, and I don't think she handled it well,
She's a lying son of a bitch, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And the other one kind of let the cat out of the bag. Speaking of that, I think that what we're going to see is okay. Let's actually, before I say this, my pronouncement for the future, I want to say some other things that we saw the women do in this CBS interview, which you definitely should fucking watch. What happened was, as soon as this slide came up, the women had this look of just laughing, like, oh my God, like it's that knowing, like, oh my gosh, my husband's a jerk. I searched for this. Then the one woman, I think she's wearing red in the back, she immediately changes the topic. And so she interrupts everybody laughing. She interrupts everybody talking. And actually, when this data comes up, this slide, this is the exact moment when she shouldn't change the topic, because this is the most interesting, I would say, yeah, it's the most surprising result of the whole interview. So that women think their husband's a jerk, annoying and mean and gay, and this is worldwide, number one searches on Google, every country, every culture, right? And then, but publicly they say complete lies. He's the best friend. He's amazing. So cute. Secretly they search that he's a total asshole, right? And think he's an asshole, and think he's annoying, think he's mean, and think he's gay, right? So this is the kind of thing that if you're doing a TV show, you'd want to dig directly into this, because you want something that's controversial and something that's interesting and surprising, right? But because they're women, and women's scam is that they need to lie in order to get guys to commit to them for their whole life.
All right.
The only way that guys are going to commit to women is if they don't know these type of things. Because if men know these type of things, they're not going to commit. Now, if women know things about men, like let's say that women knew that a man, searched these bad things about the woman, there would be much less likely that would affect her behavior. The reason why is because of divorce settlements, the fact that most, guys are supporting the family, guys are giving their money, guys are doing all the work, right? A lot of work, right? A lot of the money and a lot of the support and the legal system. So it doesn't really matter what he thinks, really. As long as the legal system is there to make him pay, then what's the fucking difference, right? But for the man, it's different, because he's making a commitment, a big, huge financial commitment that could mean the end of his freedom, right? It's the end of his freedom no matter what, but it could mean that, even jail time if she lies. So the woman telling the truth or not telling the truth is very, very sensitive topic for guys, right? Because they're giving up more to get married. The kid isn't the women want the kid. The guy's just like, okay, I'll make her happy. I'll marry her. I'll keep her. I'll trap this one. I'll get this one in my own dungeon, right? I'll own this one, right? That's what the guys are thinking, like, instead of letting her go. That motivation is much weaker than he's going to, give me tons of money. I don't have to work, or, I have like choice in work. I can work if I want to. I can work part-time, whatever. As long as he works and pays the bills, everything's fine, right?
Right.
So, yeah, so the motivation is just there. So that's why it's so interesting that women actually basically don't like their own husbands. They're doing these searches, right? This is not boyfriends. This is not like fiancés. This is their fucking husbands. This is what women think about their husbands. Yeah. So what kind of an idiot would read this, would realize this, and not change his life, right? It's in some situations they're impossible to get out of, and kids can totally complicate everything. But in the end, we don't have many chances in life to find out this type of data.
No. And then when you look at it, you can. I think now that it's more scientific, it's more provable. It's less biased. People lie on surveys, and that's another thing you mentioned.
That's what he talks about. It's like surveys don't mean anything. They don't tell you anything. Whereas when you look at the Google searches, the private Google searches that people do, that tells you what they're going to do. That's why the police use those now. I talked about this before, Google searches. So it's like the guy will have, how to hide a body or how to dissolve a body, these kind of searches, right? And that's how they bust a murder, right? Because they're like, oh, he must have been trying to, that's why, he did that, right? So it's this secret like way to see inside people. And what I think is like super important is that now that human beings, and women especially, understand that their private searches are public. Maybe not them individually, but them as a woman in general. And women have a huge motivation to not tell the truth about anything negative about themselves, anything negative about their previous sexual history, anything negative about what they think about men, because they're asking them to make these whole huge commitments. So I think what's going to happen is I really believe myself. I don't know if you think this, but I'd love to hear what you think. I think that women as a whole, this is so important to them that they will start to alter what they search for on Google. Or or they will search when they're not at home or whatever. Now they're just aware that this data is somehow visible. And women, it's a huge scam worldwide, lying to men, tricking men into marriage, tricking men into thinking they're more caring than they are, that they care about the guy. The left and the right are so extreme, and the financial benefit is so big that naturally they can't control themselves, right? It's like, if guys were in the same position, they probably couldn't control themselves too. But
it's a gold mine if you think about it. It's like it's better option. It's better than a lottery ticket in a lot of ways. I mean,
right. It's consistent money, and you can lose the lottery money, but your husband just keeps working, and then the bills are paid, right?
Yeah, and then the way things have worked out, the way it is now, the way the legal system is set up and conniving against you, it's even a better deal now than it ever was, So.
Right. Sure.
You got to be an idiot not to get in on this one,
Yeah.
If you're a woman.
Oh, the marriage.
They're saying that. They're like, yeah, you fucking idiot.
Right. The marriage scam is great, right? So
I don't want to get married. No, you fucking idiot. Just marry him. You don't have to like him.
No, you don't have to like him. You don't have to stay with him. You don't have to care about him. You don't have to take care of him. You don't have to have sex with him. You don't have.
Just go through the ceremony. Just do it. I'm sure other broads are telling each other that.
Right. Walk down the fucking aisle. Just walk down the aisle. That.
I did it. Look at me.
Yeah. Well, that might even be a good strategy for a woman. Let's say that I'm a woman. I walk down the aisle, right? And then I never have sex with the guy one time, right? Now, what's going to happen is the guy's not going to be happy, right? And so he's going to be very unhappy. And so he's going. He might even get violent or something. But if you record that, that's like a huge benefit to you too, because you can just take the guy's money right off the bat 1 week out of being married, because you got a video of the guy, threatening you and hitting you. And
uttering threats is a crime. You know that? Uttering threats is a crime. Just uttering them.
Right. It's even worse than that. No, it's worse than that. They're saying now the latest legal arguments are that if you say to the woman, let's say you catch her in the act fucking another guy. Okay, so you come home, she's bent over the kitchen table, and
don't fall to first.
And the gardener's there behind her, right? And then you say to her, "This is fucked. I'm getting a divorce." That is assault.
It is.
That's verbal assault. And you're abusing her. And so she will
not getting her food.
No, she will really fuck you over then, because you've assaulted her, and she has a witness, right? The guy fucking her is a witness, right? He could be called to the stand, right? So it's just so brutal, So what I think we're going to go into more of this, but I think what I want to do is, I don't think that this guy is the man to unearth what women really feel and think and search for. I think this guy, if when he's interviewed, he basically says, "This is depressing. Everything I'm learning is so depressing."
Yeah.
He doesn't want to know the truth, and that's even about people being racist. He's talking about that. But when it comes to like women and marriage and love and husbands and wives, he really doesn't want to know, right? He doesn't even have a girlfriend, right? He talks about it in the interview, right? And so the thing is, this guy is not the guy to do it, and I don't think anybody else will. So I want Ronin Man to be the source for data. So if anybody's listening, if you work for Google, if you are a Google search expert, and you really know traffic, you really understand how to unearth new data and you want to be on the podcast, please email me at roninmgtow, Ronin, RONINMGTOW @gmail.com, and or put a comment below, and I would love to interview you because I want to do some more research about this. I want to find out. I think the data is out there now. What I'd like to do is I'd like to unearth what women have searched for regarding men. Anything about sex, husbands, money, divorce. I want to what is that called? Like I want to get a record. I want to get a record of data at this point in time because I think that women will start to cover their tracks. So I think that the data now is going to be the most accurate data in history. And men too, because men will also realize that this stuff's being watched, right? So
they'll be going using Tor and stuff like that, right?
They're going to use whatever they can. They'll use another search engine. They might use Chinese Baidu. They're going to do whatever they can to avoid being detected. It's human nature when you have your outward personality, your social media, and then you have your inward searches. And people are, and especially women, are putting great effort to deceive people about what they're really thinking. So this type of thing blows. We're just tearing the fucking mask off the women. This literally is. This is like the Matrix. This is the fucking red pill. I think that this research we're doing here is the real red pill. There's two real red pills in my mind. One of them is what this data here about, because it's the first accurate insight into women's mind that I've ever heard of in my life, ever. And the second thing, I was going to say, is DNA testing of children. Yeah. I think these two things are very unique insights and direct into women's minds, and they're just so valuable. And again, this site is not about hating anybody. It's not about putting anybody down. We're just about the truth here. So if we find out interesting information about guys, if we find out interesting positive information about women, we're gonna bring it all to you. We're not here to find negative information. Okay.
Right. Because there are, you got to also acknowledge that there are the honey badgers, right?
Absolutely. And I like Karen Strawn and Diana Davidson, and there was quite a few women who supported the Violence Against Men and Boys, Ear for Men, the conference down in Australia last week. There was a lot of women, and I just even want to go farther into this. I'm not covering my ass. The women, interestingly enough, I don't know if you know this, John, but the reason why most of the women that I could figure out supported the men's movement and MGTOW was because their mother treated their father so poorly and they loved their father so much that they thought, my fucking cunt of a mom, and they could see it because they're women. They could see the woman, and also probably the mother told them secret things because they're a daughter, and never thinking that the information would be leaked out. So honey badgers not only are valuable, but they might be one of our greatest resources because they, just like I always say, I've had many women who go to Japan and they want to be like Japanese women. They want to be feminine. And I always say it's hopeless because the only way you can be a Japanese woman is if you're born and raised. There's hundreds of thousands or maybe even millions of tiny things they do to act more feminine. And there's no way a woman can go over there for 1 or 2 years and change her everything from her stature to the way she acts, talks, moves her hands, moves her eyes, moves her eyelids. Every dresses, every little detail. Right? There's no way that she.
There is no manner school for that. Yeah.
No, the things are too subtle. The only way you get those is by being born in the culture, right? And so same thing in this situation with the honey badgers is that they are women, and women their whole life have been telling them the truth, never imagining in their wildest dreams that they would join the men's rights movement and pull the covers off every bullshit that they had heard about men. So I think that they are valuable and very valuable to us, especially because not because they're better than us, but because they had that secret insight and they had access to women who, some smart, some stupid, but who are telling them what they really think. So that's
they're not
valuable.
just doing it blindly. Like they're doing it because they saw what went. Like you mentioned, they saw what went on. They have their own reason. It's not just for the sole purpose of. They saw their own father being badgered.
Right. That's actually a great point there, John, because it's not just like we become MGTOW because we just want a better life, right? You know, and we want to avoid being trapped, and we want to have our own financial freedom, and you know, these are things we want, right? But the women's motivation, if you love your father so much and you saw him destroyed, maybe he committed suicide. Men's suicide is like way higher than women. You know,
it's like double. It's like double, I think.
It's 70-30. 70% of suicides are male, 30% are women. So it's massive, right? So okay. So I did a little bit of research. So again, if you're listening and you're a true traffic expert, so I mean somebody like a big data guy, somebody who maybe is in charge of artificial intelligence or taking large cumbersome data, putting it into machine learning algorithms, things like that, like somebody who really or somebody who's a true marketing expert who uses Google searches, because Google searches are the best ways to make money, because when you understand what people are searching for, you can write better marketing copy. That's why Google searches are so important for marketers, because the data that we're looking at here about women, this is so accurate that if you want to be successful in life, you basically have to know this stuff. If you believe what people put in social media and build a marketing campaign around it, you're not going to make any money, because it's not what they really think. It's not what they really feel. It's not their real fears. It's not their real dreams. It's what they want you to think, right? And that's what humans, not just women, but men and women, it's their outside personality and then their inside. The inside, you have to know that data if you want to write good advertising copy, if you want to make money.
That's kind of interesting, because in Japan they talk about the tatemae and the hone, right? The outside intention versus the true intention. Right.
Yeah. So
they had that concept wired a long time ago.
Right. True. We don't have that same kind of dichotomy, but they were kind of admitting that there's this huge gap.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So I did a little research here, and I posted it on Ronin Man a couple months ago, but I just want to show it here, and that is men are. Okay, what I did was this is me. This is my search. I didn't take this from anywhere. I went to Google, and you can do this yourself, and I want to see what you get, because you might get a little different result. And the reason is because Google, what is it called? It personalizes your searches depending on where you are, what you've searched for before, your age, how much you use Google. All of these different things are taken into consideration. But this was my search. And so all I did simply in this one was I typed in men are, and then the search, what do they call it? What are these called? I can't think of it. But these were the suggested searches. So basically what this tells you, it tells you the most traffic, common search. It tells you essentially what the book does. So when people search men are, what's the most common search? What's the second most common, and things like that, right? So if you look at men are, and then women are, the difference could not be greater. So essentially we have a book, Men Are From Mars, Venus, and then arena, which is that's actually interesting. The number 2 is men arena and men arena seating plan. So basically nobody's even searching about men, yeah. If they don't, nobody cares about men. If arena is the number 2 and men arena seating plan is number 3, that tells you how much people give a fuck about men, right? So women are not searching for men, and men are not searching for men, right? So basically nobody's searching. But for the searches that do happen, men are stupid, men are pigs, men are dogs, and then back to men arena seating again. So that's even worse to me, because that tells you that no one gives a fuck, Nobody cares about you. You on the podcast, nobody cares about you. Women are not even searching.
Go back to the coal mines.
Yeah, just get to work, and then, get to fucking work. And the next one is men are stupid meme, and men are idiots.
Yeah.
Okay, now women are. Now here's the search. Here's the results I got. Women are perfect. Okay, and then women are strong. Women are perfect again. Women are always right. Women are perfect poster. So that's a case of some kind of specific, not a real search. There's some thing called that perfect poster, right? Women are great, and women are like wine. So women are like wine. Women are strong. Women are perfect. Women are always right, as opposed to idiots, stupid, dogs, pigs, and a meme that says how stupid guys are.
That meme is really, I think that should be, if you look at the commercial, the television, how men are portrayed on TV, especially on TV or in the media, it's always that the stupid, bumbling idiot can't find directions. I think that's what that's about.
Absolutely, and that's a very important point. Is that basically the idea that men are stupid is so ingrained in society that it's actually an internet meme.
That's right. Yeah, that's huge.
So that's really serious. Yeah, they basically when men have there's no respect for men at all. So
absolutely zero. Like, and I bet you could track that from like 1960. Let's just say, at the time of civil rights and all these different, the liberalization of
sure
politics
yeah
and you could probably track that. I'm sure you could find some easy data on that when men started to be, couldn't find their ass with both hands kind of philosophy.
Yeah. Sure, I'm sure it's changed over time.
They
Interesting.
can't change diapers, they can't cook, they can't fucking. It's all bullshit. Like, we cook better. We're actually, when shit hits the fan, I think men are quite sensitive.
Well, if you look at Michelin chefs, I think it's like 96 or 98% are men, not women. Yeah. No, it's a really high percentage of men are the top chefs cooking the best food, right?
So we're sensitive. We got taste buds. Obviously we're sensitive.
Yeah. Well, also disciplined, hardworking. Because making food is hard, right? It requires discipline and putting you have to work, right, to make good food, right? It's a very time intensive. That's why a lot of people don't want to be cooks these days, chefs these days. That movie, that one about what's it called? Jiro Loves Sushi is a really great movie from Japan. Jiro Jiro Loves Sushi, and that's, if you haven't seen it, like really like goes into like they follow this guy around. You can see how difficult it is to be an excellent chef and how incredibly devoted this guy is to his craft. But okay, so let's go into the next one. So this is my own research. Now, I want to do more of this type of stuff. This is what I found out from Google, right? From a very simple search. And I want to get as much as I can. I want to find out what women are really searching for when it comes to men. And let's get the data. Let's get the stats. Let's make some graphs. Let's make some infographics. Pitch in on this one, guys. If you can help, if you can do some research, or if you know anybody who's good with the internet, start to do some research. Find out now what's going on before, and then share it with the group before women change everything and start to lie on their Google searches.
I'm surprised that this guy hasn't been, quote unquote, shut down by the social justice warriors.
Well, I think the main thing with this guy is probably there's two reasons. Social justice warriors don't tend to be very technically savvy, so they might not be smart enough to understand the absolute like earth-shatteringness of his book. So that's very possible. They don't really understand that this is a direct spotlight into the mind of women. I doubt they understand that. I would suspect they just think, they probably even haven't read the book. A lot of people, they think, well, there's some book out there about data, whatever, but the thing is whenever you uncover the truth about data, the people that have the most to lose are the ones who are not telling the truth, right? So if you're basically telling the truth, then you don't really care, right? You know what I mean? If a guy who's secretly gay is going to fear somebody seeing his search history more than somebody who is not gay, right? You know, because he's like, who cares? I don't care if somebody sees my search for results. What's the fucking difference, right? Whereas somebody who's got something to hide, they're like, holy fuck, you know, I better get in there and start changing. You know, they have a different perspective, right? So women, because of the way they are, and because of the nature of marriage, and just the nature of women, like in the predatory female and the manipulated man. I mean, this is the way women are. That's the way they operate. They have an emotional toughness that men just simply don't have. And they just wrap guys around their fingers. Guys work their ass off for women their whole life. They don't find out it's all a sham until they're too old to do anything about it, usually. They're broken down like an old car. And then they find out it was all a scam. The women never loved them. They never cared. Everything was bullshit, but it's too late, right? That's what I want to do with this podcast. I want to wake people up so they make changes.
Well, the other thing too, I was thinking while we were doing our research was that now this is very typical. Is somebody discovers something, someone comes up with something, right? It's in humanity. This is kind of a deep one, but people discover things, but that's not necessarily the right person to analyze the data.
Oh, right. That's so, John, dude, you nailed it on that one. It's like, it's almost like somebody made a theory about the splitting of the atom, fission, right? Not fusion. Yeah. He had a theory about fission back in 1854, I think it was, way back when. But he was not the guy to make the nuclear bomb, right?
Right.
That was a different team.
That's what we got here.
Right.
I've noticed that in his interviews, he was kind of saying this is depressing. He was starting to put his own bias. He couldn't help it. He's responsible, right?
Right. Yeah. He actually did not want to know the truth.
No.
Makes sense. Most people don't want to know.
And he doesn't want to be the messenger, really, either. Even though I guess reluctantly he did. Because he did a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff on the internet. Yeah,
but also, he also played along with a lot of the stuff when the women, when the newscaster wearing red, when she changed the direction of the conversation when they talked about what women search for in their husband, and they were basically unearthed as just lying bitches who cold conniving cunts, right? That happened. She changed the topic, and he went along with it. Because he's been
trained. He's been trained to do that.
Well, I mean, no, but like your point is that it's above his pay grade. Like this guy is not, he's not there to get beaten up. He like came up with this like groundbreaking way to see what people are really thinking and planning, and on a like a scale, you can see what women think. Not just one woman, but actually what women feel about their husbands.
Yeah, it's hard for them to just do an ad hominem and nail them.
Right.
Make fun of them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He's got the data, but the thing is the guy doesn't really want to be the messenger. There's a lot of, it's really heavy what you said. I think we need somebody else to pick up, somebody with the fortitude to go through the data and go deeper into specific titles, like what are the most important things that we need to find out about humans where we have this rare opportunity with accurate data. And also I think somebody's got to back up the current search data from Google so that we have access to this accurate data before it gets corrupted. Because until now...
The key word is in situ, as it was discovered, right?
Right. Well, it's kind of like, the U.S. in World War II, they broke the Japanese code.
Yeah.
And so whenever there was... That's why Midway was such a disaster for the Japanese Navy, because the U.S. military, the Navy, knew exactly where the Japanese were going and when, and how many ships, how many people. And so that's why they absolutely decimated at Midway. It wasn't because they were so smart. They knew they broke the code. As soon as the Japanese figured that out, they changed the way they acted, right? It's they didn't do, they changed I don't remember what they changed, but they did not. Once they realized that everything was being understood by the Americans, they were like, oh, fuck, So that's the same thing with women, is right now we can see the code is broken. And the data, there's no way to delete it. Online, you
No,
can see
but
what.
your point was, you said it has to be analyzed now before the behaviors start changing, because
Right.
they will consciously or subconsciously change. So this data needs to be mined and put somewhere and looked at as of whatever it is today, 2017,
Right.
before a year from now, before they start start getting technically savvy and covering your tracks.
Well, not only that, I think that once, like I said, like the SJWs are not that intelligent. They're
No.
reactionary, emotional force in general.
Mm.
They're on the extreme of the bell curve, right? So
Yeah.
they don't understand the importance of this data right now. They don't understand that they are see-through right now, that people can see their real
Yeah.
intentions. And so once they do, what will happen, it's very predictable, is that they will make it illegal to release this data, or difficult to release the data. So it's like you could have a camera. Men want to see women naked, right? Right. That's what we want to see women, naked women, right? So once the camera was invented, right, they made it illegal to have one inside a woman's bathroom, because you could see everything. You could record it and watch it later, right?
Right.
But before that, there was no such thing as a camera. Nobody worried about it. There was no way to record it, right? So
there were no laws. Yeah.
there was no laws about it, because you just couldn't. But now that you can see women's true, thinking process when it comes to men and marriage, and husbands, once that's visible, it's going to cause trillions of dollars in like imbalances once men digest this information. So this will be now, like, Google will be under heavy pressure to censor search data for specific reasons. So, for example, they might be under intense pressure to censor data, like for, let's say, people who are in Islamic countries who are saying, like, they don't believe it, right? They're doubters, right? And so that type of data, or women believing their husbands are basically, like, just idiots, stupid. This type of data, there's going to be a lot of pressure for Google not to release this.
This is like archaeology in a way,
It's archaeology in a time when there was no way to dig.
Yeah.
So it's like beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah. And I think it's actually still okay. I think most people are not smart enough and on top of things. They don't understand. They didn't read this book. They don't read many books anyway. So this is kind of a new thing. It's going to, I think even this podcast might wake some people up. But after people realize, oh my God, this shit's out there. Like, oh my God, like, what are guys going to do if they realize, that
because this guy, the guy who wrote the book, he had an inside pipeline to the data, right? So that data,
he worked for Google, yeah,
right. So that data is not conventional. He's on a different
no
level of.
I don't think so. I think the data that he wrote the book about, I don't think he got while he was working there. I think he learned how to mine the data when he was working there. This is all public data. No, this is all public. You can use Google.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can use Google Analytics, like for writing marketing copy for my products online.
Right. Yeah.
I use this data. It's just that I'm not such an expert at it. But now, after this book, I'm very, very interested in improving my skill at understanding search data, because I see the paramount importance when it comes to marketing and understanding customers, right?
So surveys are in the garbage can now.
Well, surveys are now a complete joke. Surveys, the things that are in a joke now that we see what people are really thinking, things that are a joke are social media and surveys. So asking customer surveys, and also probably, what are those called when you get a bunch of people together and they talk about a product? It's called not a think tank. There's a word for that type of research. I'm guessing that most customer data is kind of going on its way out now, because now we can see directly what people think. We don't have to do any research. We can see the stats are there. They search this number one.
The cookie crumbs are there.
Yeah, it's all right there. So I think that there's no need. Like if I know that men search for, or let's say women, if I know that most women search for "is my husband gay?" It's the number one of the most top searches in the world, right? If I
Yeah.
know that, then as a marketer, all I have to do is make a new ad tomorrow. It says, "Are you worried that your husband is gay?" Right? And you're
Yeah.
gonna and you're gonna get tons of clicks on that ad,
Yeah.
and then you could sell something, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Right. So that's how it works. That's how search data leads to marketing, which leads to money, money,
Yeah.
money. You make money when you understand your customer. You don't make money when you don't
Well,
understand your customer.
in a way, the women are, the whole scam that you talk about, or we've talked about it. They're doing a lot of market research in a way, even though they're barking up the wrong tree. You know, is my husband gay? All this, these different. Their web searches are different. They're trying to do. They're attempting to, well, that's another question: is why the hell are they doing this even?
Well, they again, I would say, like in that case of gay, that basically in the book, basically he says that the reason why women search that is because the guy doesn't have sex with them. So,
But they don't want to.
but that's the thing. They don't want. They don't. This is what the only thing you could probably say is that they don't want to know that it's their fault. So
There you go.
if they're 300 pounds overweight, they're not
Yeah.
going to say how to
Yeah.
lose weight. They're not going to search how to lose weight so my husband
My cooking is shit.
has sex.
It gives me the
Yeah.
runs.
Yeah. Or my underwear, has like 3 wires under the bra and it looks like an old lady. How can I get sexy underwear so my husband fucks me? No. It's like, is my husband gay? The fucking guy's gay. He's stupid.
Absolutely.
He's gay.
He has to be.
He's an idiot. It's anything except me. It's not my fault. The guy not having sex with me has nothing to do with me. It all has to do with him.
Obviously, because he's gay.
Well, he's either gay or he's got some heart problem or something's wrong with the guy. Because
Yeah.
I'm, obviously it couldn't be me. It couldn't possibly be me.
No. Oh, absolutely. Which is okay. All right.
Okay, so let's go to the next one. We'll go to the Vox article. So this is what got this whole thing started. There's an article here with proof that Americans are lying about their sexual desires and what porn tells us about ourselves. And I'm going to go ahead and put this link below because it's a great link and it's a very worthwhile read for you. But it's just too much here. It's just talking about basically what, in more depth of what we talked about here. So I don't think... the only thing I thought was interesting here was what are husbands secretly worried about, and they're worried about if their wives are crazy. So that's the number one search. Is my wife crazy? So that's it.
Tough.
Women, is my husband gay, and is my wife crazy? So that I thought was quite interesting, and that's the kind of question that is a logical question based on some illogical actions, and the guy would say.
But do you think that a woman would read that and interpret that for face value? I don't think so. They're gonna just blow that off.
Oh, it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. The data's there now. We can see the data, so it doesn't really matter what anybody says anymore. The data's there. You do the research, you get the cookies. It's right there.
Whether you want to listen or not.
Right. Yeah. And then, there was also interesting here. It says, what should husbands be asking Google? So he asked the author, Davidowitz, what should they be asking? And he said, whether their wives are physically attracted to women than men, because women's number one sexual search is lesbian. And lesbian scissoring, I think, is number 2.
Now that's key. Would you like my opinion?
Sure. Yeah. What? I
think part of, with what I see on, all I know is the trips that I've made back. Like I've spent half my life in Asia. But from what I see, what's going on in the media and YouTube and this whole power women and we kick ass and all this stuff and the whole direction that the women's movement is going, or females in general, it seems that they're more interested in lesbians than guys.
I think that's the truth. And also, women are, according to research data, more likely to have a orgasm with a woman than a man. So lesbian sex results in orgasm.
It's more fulfilling for them, yeah.
Well, it's not like a small percentage. It's like I think it's like 6 to 1, or it's really high. Like it's like basically women don't have orgasms with men much unless there's something radical happened. Sometimes when women are being raped, they have high orgasm rates, which nobody really wants to touch that one. But that's something that is statistically accurate. But when it comes to lesbians, that women have sex more. So I mean, have orgasms more with other women. So I guess what I would say, my feeling, is that if a woman thinks that I'm stupid, a pig, and all these other things, right? And she has orgasms. What's that?
A buffoon, a babbling idiot.
Yeah, babbling idiot and buffoon. That's fine for me. Okay, I'm not the sensitive type. I don't care what she thinks about me, but I'm very interested because that influences the decisions that I make. Because I know who I am. I'm confident in myself, right? And so I know that, and also I know that not all women are exactly the same. There are differences in women. And that's a key point. Is that women?
We mentioned that too. We mentioned that too.
Yeah. We're talking about most women in the world here, and that's significant in itself. But we're not talking about all women in the world. And I don't mean that as like holding out hope against hope. I just mean that we're not, right? It's not most guys like football, but I got a friend, he doesn't like football, right? So, we do have different, and that's very important when you're looking at like a large data to know that we're not the same. But I think, let's see, I lost my train of thought there, but what did I?
But the tangent is, the belief is, especially in North America, I don't know what's going on in Europe, but my view is that judging by the feminization of college campuses, it's like 60% of them are women. There's, a lot. Look at the entertainment industry; they're getting their hair cut short. There's this full, kind of lesbian vibe going on.
Yeah. Okay, that was what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that what a MGTOW should do is to realize that this is the truth. I think that's the number one thing, is that accepting reality is your number one most powerful skill. So if women don't have orgasms with men that often, and if women search for porn, lesbian scissoring, and things that are not you, right, is that you need to take that into consideration when you decide how much money you're going to give them, right? And how much time you're going to give them, right? So don't take it personally, but you want to take it very seriously. And you don't, again, just like my Be a Black Box video, you don't want to go out there and tell women that you know this stuff. It's very important that you don't let women know that you've uncovered and that you have.
Oh, that's the worst. That is absolutely the worst thing to do.
Yeah, all this stuff we're talking about here, you want to keep it. I know it's not easy, but you want to keep it inside. Don't go out there tomorrow to dinner and say, "Hey, I did some research in women, don't care about their husbands."
May as well put some more salt on the wound there.
Well, I don't think that's the problem. No. John, that's not the problem. The problem is not a fight with the woman. No. The problem is it's in this sense, women think of them as those movies where there's like zombies out there, and the zombies don't want you to know they're a zombie, right? So they pretend like they're a human being, right? So the thing is in this case, women are out there trying to trick men into giving them money and lying about how much they care about them and how much they think about them and how much sex means with them. And they're lying about everything essentially. And so, when you when you let people know that they're lying, what that is doing is you're alerting them to the fact that they need to change and they need to now convince you otherwise. So Don't let on that you know. It's very, very important.
Yeah, walk softly and
Yeah,
carry a big stick.
well, not even like about fighting. It's just that if you let them know, they will start to wear you away, and they're going to go to their friends. They're going to say, "Hey, my husband figured out that that women don't care about their husbands, and think they're stupid, and he read this data that's very accurate. What should I do?" And then the women will get.
What I'm doing.
Yeah, well, the women would get together and they would say, they would come up with a strategy, and I could even come up with one.
And they do. I know that for fact here.
Oh, absolutely! Right away, they'll come up with a fact, and then what women will start. I'm guessing what they'll tell men is like, it's very important to know that although other women are terrible, I'm different, and they'll come up with a whole reason why they're different. Right? The same thing is, somebody who doesn't want to be uncovered for some reason. Like when the Germans, when they caught people on the battlefield, they would ask them mathematical questions, because American might speak German, right? But he would never be able to do math in German.
Oh, fuck.
So that's what they discovered. So they would ask them math questions in German, and then they would shoot them because they figured out he was not German and he was a spy. So so they found ways to uncover who was really who, right? And then that data was used to shoot the guy and kill him, right? So women, once they realize, they're going to start coming up with tests, they're going to start coming up with excuses, they're going to start coming up with defenses and things. It's going to get much more complicated soon. Right now, we have an dead accurate viewpoint of what women really think. This is a very important topic and time in this world. So that's what I would say, is just go ahead and take it at that. That's why you especially do not want to alert women that you know this stuff. Now, once you figure it all out and you make the decision to let's say, steal your own money and get divorced or whatever you're going to do, and you make that decision and it's all over, then if you told the woman that you figured something out, that's fine, but you can do that later, right? Yeah.
I think people listening can figure out your logic. It makes a lot of sense.
Right. So
a lot of times guys go in not thinking in a logical sense, or not. Sorry, they're thinking and speaking in a logical way, but that doesn't work. That's not what you should be doing. Right.
Okay. So let's go to the next one here. We have an article from the Atlantic. So if you know the Atlantic, you're going to be surprised by this picture of the girl bending over with the bikini, because the Atlantic is a very conservative magazine. So the fact that they have this search on here tells you that they're serious. Like, if the Atlantic is writing about this, you better know this is serious shit. The Atlantic does not have pictures like this. It does not do articles like this. It's not one of these half-assed Newsweek type of,
it's full-assed.
Yeah, it's full-assed. And so, and again, it goes into everybody lies. And we go into the thing. Let me just let's see if we get anything in here useful. I think probably with this one, the best thing, it's a very useful article, is just to go ahead and put it below and let you go ahead and read it and learn what you can learn.
What stood about me on that one was the I part. When a woman says I, that was the signaling.
Right. That's interesting. On a first date, or on a speed date, right? So explain that one for people.
Oh, I think reading the article, but if the woman frequently signals interest by talking about herself using the I a lot, a man signals interest by taking a deep monotone voice, right? Yeah, and I can relate to that. Guys, that's why TV announcers talk in a deeper voice, and they even it sounds more authoritative, right? But
is that right?
Yes, that's right. So if we all talk like this, everybody's going to listen. So we shouldn't talk like this because we sound like a fruit.
Yeah.
But if a woman says I a lot, I never really paid attention to that. This guy found just one word.
Yeah. I. So basically, if a woman says the word I, it's more likely that she likes the man, because because she's actually expressing herself, and if she says she's not sure or maybe or that, then they would. It's very likely she doesn't like the man, right? I just want to say one thing about the gay thing, the joke you made there. is I want anybody who's listening to this podcast, if you are gay, you're very welcome here. And I don't mean that as like I really like MGTOW is not about being straight. You know, it's really about figuring life out and not being used. I think that gay men have, in a sense, one of the most dangerous things in front of them because, especially if you're from a conservative religious area and you have to get married, even though, like, it's one thing for a straight guy to give all his money to somebody who doesn't care about him, right? But it's a completely different thing for a gay man because there's nothing for him. He would only do it because of social pressure, right? So there's a lot here. I'm sure there's gay men listening to this podcast.
I apologize if that was taken the wrong way.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I mean, the thing is we make jokes like this, right? This is like life, you know what I mean? It's like, it's life, you know, and so, you know, I think people listening to this podcast are not the judgmental types, you know, and so, you know, no worries, but I just wanted to throw that out there that we all as men, and this is what I really want guys to do. I really want to tie in not only gay and straight guys, but because they both need MGTOW. They both need the information that we're bringing. And because they have friends, they have fathers, right? If not even just for them, you know, they have other people they care about that are, they're having to talk to and consult, and bosses and coworkers.
You're inclusive.
Well, the thing is, no, what I'm saying is I'm inclusive because of a reason. Like, gay guys also care about other human beings, right? They care about other men, you know. So exactly. They would be like, oh shit, like my friend's getting fucked over, you know, my high school friend's getting fucked over. What am I going to do? It's important that he understands this stuff too, so that he can also get a better grip on, you know, how society is moving and how it all works and how he can help his friends and, you know, all that stuff. And I think for gay guys too, the other thing is that, you know, just listening to this, it must be a huge sigh of relief because they secretly probably knew that women were way full of shit when it came to guys.
Yeah, why did they tell us? That's an interesting question.
We probably didn't want to know. You know?
Yeah, that's true. We weren't ready to listen.
We probably didn't want to fucking know, you know? But okay, so let's go to the next link. So basically, the last one here, second last one, he's my husband gay. So here's another article. This is Glamour magazine, a women's magazine. And again, this is from a woman's perspective. It's a woman's magazine, but the most common complaint women have their boyfriends is not A, he won't text me back, B, he won't talk to me, C, he won't have sex with me. C is the answer. Okay. Next one is, what do women search about a man's orgasm? A, why he's not having one. B, how to make him have one quicker. And C, how to make him last longer. The answer is A.
Exactly.
Why he's not having an orgasm. So they're not concerned at all with how the guy feels. They're just, if a guy does not come, you know, and I've seen this a million times with girls, if a guy cannot come or does not come with the girl, she feels like this is like super important to make him come, because if he comes, then he might stay with her, he might marry her. But if he doesn't come, it's absolutely days are numbered on that relationship. You know what I mean? Like it's the end. It's just how long will it go on as a zombie before it finally dies, right? The guy has to come, or the woman has no power. So the woman's power, just like those Cinderella with the wand and stuff, right? That magic, what that magic is in a Disney movie, that magic is making a guy come. No, that's what it is.
I believe you.
I've seen this over my whole life. That's the only magic that women have that men don't have, or straight men don't have.
She's a good cook.
No. What is magic? Magic is emotional. It's impossible to understand. It's unbelievable. It's powerful. It's like surprising, and it's like everything, right? That's what sex is. Sex is the most emotional, non-logical, powerful emotion in the world, and that magic dust is the guy coming, and that's what makes a guy crazy. That's what makes a guy do all these stupid things, and that's the difference that women have. And if you watch a Disney movie with this in mind, you'll be like, what else could it be? You know what I mean? It's not.
Okay. That's okay, got it. Yeah.
This is a Ronin Man special here. I figured that one out from watching Disney over the years. I'm like, this is the girl making the guy come. That's all it is. That's her magic power. That's the difference between her and
it's foreshadowing. That's called foreshadowing.
Okay. Nice. Right. Foreplay shadowing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Foreplay shadowing.
Okay. So then the next one is, what do wives worry about most? A, my husband's bipolar. B, my husband's gay. C, my husband's cheating. You would think that it would be like...
You'd think C, right?
You would think C. Is he cheating? Is he healthy? Is he okay? Like, is he happy? No. None of those things are important. Just, is he gay? Which is, she's very selfishly worried that he's not coming. And if he doesn't come, her magic wand isn't going to work. Right?
Right.
The minute...
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the ultimate, like, if he was gay, that would be the ultimate, wow, that's like, that would cause a lot of, yeah, she'd lose all her power, absolutely.
Right. Unless he's in a, like Mississippi or something where there's a lot of social pressure to be married, then she might not care. What I read from most of this data, what you're saying is that women literally don't care about how men feel or what men are doing. It's just as it relates to them, right? So they might not actually give a fuck about even being gay. The only reason why is because that means that, this and this and this, right? The actual fact that he's gay probably doesn't even matter, is what I would...
No. But then her magic wand is not powerful anymore.
That's right. She doesn't have any power, and so now she's on her way out the door. And
that's the ultimate way.
Sure.
Yeah.
GTFO, get the fuck out. She's on the way out, and she's really worried about that. Okay, so let's go here to the last one, which is the Pornhub data, and there's so much data. This is like, it must be 100 pages long, this one.
Now, that's the problem with it. Like I said, you need somebody to analyze this without any religious or political bias.
Right. I think we should actually skip this. I think we should actually skip this Pornhub data.
It's just like, to me, it's just like looking at it's like a statistics course or something. You're just looking at little microcosms of little pieces of things.
I thought that there was a couple of interesting things. I read most of it, but I thought one of the most interesting thing was the fact that women, well, one, they watch porn for like 40% longer. And if you look at the number of minutes per day, I think women even more minutes per day, but it's lower. Men watch porn for about 6-7 minutes per time, right? That's enough to come, apparently. And so that's what guys do. They watch for just enough to blow their wad. And women, in order to orgasm, takes longer. And they watch a lot of porn. That's another surprising thing, is that women watch a lot of porn, because this is another case of women being dishonest.
Completely.
Yeah. So like these are the interesting things with this data is when you see something you didn't know or something that was covered up actively, right? So men will immediately admit they watch porn, right? It's a very normal thing. Men are honest.
Chastised for it.
Yeah. Oh, they'll get chastised. They'll get, but at the same time, everybody knows that guys are going to watch porn, and we were ready for that. But when you see that women watch, I think it's like almost. It depends on the country, but almost 40% of all porn is watched by women globally. So, and then if you count the number of minutes, then in a lot of countries, the women actually watch more minutes because they watch much longer in order to orgasm. So, I didn't know that. So there is some data that's quite interesting in here. And,
the other one that pointed out was the hentai thing, right?
What about that?
No, well, the hentai, I mean, how can that even be a category? It's just, I know that it's a porn category. Yeah. But, and then there's the localization of it, but, that even within the hentai category, you could go like into different categories of that, There's different kinds of hentai, All it means is kinky, actually.
Yeah, it's Japanese kinky, right? But hentai is a Japanese word, and when you search hentai, you're searching for Japanese kinky, not
kink. Yeah, it's Japanese kink is basically what it is.
But the Japanese part is key, because otherwise you would just search for kink,
Yeah. Okay.
not Japanese kink. Japanese kink is different and interesting, and the Japanese porn industry and the depth and I would say what do you call it? Like, there's so many things about Japan that's unique, but one of them is the the amount of variations and the subtleties and the discipline with which they attack each of these different niches. You know, they take it more seriously. You know, they get more deeper into it. Like, it's interesting. The Japanese.
Yeah, it's not just tentacle porn. You know.
Right. No. It's they get all serious about it, and that pays off, and that's why Japanese porn is like so huge.
So I don't know how they can come up with that data just to say hentai, and then they cover, you know, a couple countries and say, oh, these people watch hentai. I mean, what are they really saying? You know.
Again, it's a Western, you know, software, Google, and it's a guy. Yeah, Pornhub is an American company, and the data is going to be not so accurate. So, I guess there we go. That's this is our first episode of a real insight into data, which is telling us the truth about what people search for and what people think about sex, about relationships, about husbands, about wives, and girlfriends and boyfriends. You know, we have a tool now that can get us in deep. So I would say the first thing you probably want to do is to go online and search for Stephens-Davidowitz and go ahead and watch some videos. I'm going to put some below in the links in the description. Watch some of the videos and get an idea of what he learned and his methodology and everything. And then I'll put the links that we talked about here. And then if you are interested, I would say definitely buy the book and study the book, because it's really a sign of our times and a fantastic insight into ourselves, into human beings, and also, like you said, I lost my train of thought there, but yeah, no, this is like this is our opportunity of a lifetime. So
like I said, he may not be the one to deliver the goods.
Right. So you might be the one to do it. You watching this, you might be the guy. You might be the guy to come out with the data and bring the, you know, let's start to put the data together here, and let's start to get an idea, an accurate reflection of what women really search for, think, believe, you know, are concerned about. Let's get the real data. Let's not go on some hate site, or, you know, let's not go on some emotional rampage, right? Let's get the data. Let's get the hard, cold data. And then after that, we can make decisions about how to guide our lives. Decisions that will affect everything in our life, right? If your life is based on a lie, it's very important to see that. And then later, to give yourself some time. Give yourself some loving when you're going through these kind of things. These are big, big things. You have a mother, you have a father, you have a sister, you have friends, you have a wife, you have a girlfriend, you have, you know, co-workers, and you're going to have to start to deal with this. And like the guy said, Davidowitz said, it's not pretty because you're seeing what humans really think, and that can be pretty have some rough edges on it, right? So give yourself a break, but once you do understand what's going on, you know, I hope this leads to better decision making and less wishful thinking about the way the world actually is. So there we go. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just listening mode.
Yeah. No worries. Hey, okay, cool. You got anything you want to add at the end here?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we need that. You know, that book is it's just a lid. He's just opening the lid. He's saying that it's there. That we need ways of interpreting the data. That's the hard part, without any political or, you know, moral twist to it, if possible. It's hard because, you know, we grow up with our own viewpoints, but to be able to say, yeah, you know, that's, oh yeah, and then those aha moments. That's why she said I 400 times, you know, or whatever,
Right, right.
And then, it's always like we've had these discussions before. Was that chick was on you? No, she wasn't. She hated my guts, and the other guy knew, right? Or she hated you. Oh, she liked me. Like we pick up these signals. This is the data that will back up those things that we thought were truths and untruths.
Right, right,
So
great.
this will shake up all those good books that maybe we've read before. It will shake up a lot of stuff.
Well, books like, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, these type of bullshit fairy tales are really going to get blown out of the water by stuff like this.
Oh, yeah. So this hard data and people who choose to accept that Google and big data is nothing to be sneezed at. If they choose to understand it, that's the logic of our argument here.
Right.
And it's the truth,
Yeah.
For
Well,
lack of a better word, if that can be, you need somebody to interpret it, though. That's the thing. You can find the book in the library, but you got to be able to know what the heck it. Put it together.
I don't think there's that much interpretation. I think it's more like the big data management skills where you can actually crunch the data and put it into meaningful subcategories and things like that.
Layman's terms too, right?
Yeah, sure, yeah. True. There's different level. Like for me, I could do it, but yeah, you're right. People need that done for them. And also, there also will be accurate information from Facebook searches, from Twitter searches, from Pinterest searches, from different, searches, right? I'm guessing that searches on Instagram are going to be valuable also. So there's different. All the thing that's in common is search data for people that are looking for solutions for things. And I just want to say I want to add in one last thing, and that is that if you have any doubt that this information is accurate, and I doubt anybody will go this far, but I want to put it out there that there is a way to find out, and that is copywriting. So, for example, you can spend $50 on Google Ads, and you can write an ad saying, my husband is awesome, my husband is wonderful, and use those same terms, and then you can do, is my husband gay, and things like that, and you can see which one people click on, and you can see the statistics in real time from a real search. All you have to do is you can use canva.com, you can make a graphic with the ad and write the copy, and then you can pay your money, and you can actually watch in real time these things being either proven or disproven based on your ad results. And of course, that will depend on your selection of audience and your copywriting. And there are some things that will make it a little bit difficult to do, but it's the best way. If you have any doubt about data being accurate, try to make some money with data, and you will be quickly pounded into reality. You will be pounded like a fucking sledgehammer. If you're wrong about what consumers think, about what consumers fear, about what consumers dream about, and what consumers want to know, and what they want, if you have any doubts, you try to sell something and sell clicks, and the data will immediately go to the real thing that the customer thinks, and it will uncover your mistakes, and they give you another chance to refocus your aim, right, for your next ad, right? You learn something from every ad that you run. So this is not stuff you have to trust them about. This is very testable information, and you can I think that might even be a good project.
Exactly. Yeah, I hope people run away with this one, and it doesn't just go. It's just like a book about Google or something.
Right.
I hope they take it. They see the depth.
Absolutely. I'd like to see a book about women, what they really think about men, what they think about husbands, what they think about divorce. What do they search for before they divorce? Mm-hmm. What do they search for before they have sex for the first time? Mm-hmm. What do they search for when they think that their husband found out they have another boyfriend? What do they, all the things that women, like basically a complete sociological study of women based on their searches. And I think that would be the most powerful.
A scientific study, yeah.
Yep.
Totally.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Based on data. Yeah.
Yeah.
No wishful thinking. No women haters. No women lovers. Nothing necessary. Cold hard data.
Yeah.
To guide the way.
So it's just sitting there. The ball's ready to. It's ready to get hit. So.
Right. So post below, guys, and I want to hear what you think about this one. I hope this is a popular episode because I personally think this is one of the most important ones that we've ever done. So, thanks for listening, and thanks, John, for being on. Always a pleasure. Hope you have a nice weekend there.
Of course, yeah, totally. Thanks for every week's got fresh ideas. So
yeah, thanks. You're welcome, man. I'm gonna go get some food because I haven't eaten all day. I'm starving, so I'm gonna go just munch right now. So, thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for any comments, and thanks for giving a fuck, man, because we do. So, all right, have a good one, guys.